Here, this is an audio production. This is the second voyage of Sinbad, the sailor. We begin. Know, O my brother, that I was living a most comfortable and enjoyable life, in all solace and delight, as I told you yesterday, until my mind became possessed with the thought of travelling about the world of men and seeing their cities and islands, and longing seized me to traffic and to make money by trade. Upon this resolve I took a great store of cash, and buying goods and gear fit for travel, bound them up in bales. Then I went down to the river bank, where I found a noble ship, and brand new about to sail, equipped with sails of fine cloth and well manned and provided. So I took passage in her, with a number of other merchants, and after embarking our goods we weighed anchor the same day. Right fair was our voyage, and we sailed from place to place, from isle to isle. And whenever we anchored, we met a crowd of merchants and notables and customers, and we took to buying and selling and bartering. At last, destiny brought us to an island, fair and verdant, in trees abundant, with yellow ripe fruits, luxuriant, and flowers, fragrant, and birds warbling soft descent, and streams crystalline and radiant. But no sign of man showed to the descrier, no, not a blower of the fire. The captain made fast with us to this island, and the merchants and sailors landed, and I walked about, enjoying the shade of the trees and the song of the birds that chanted the praise of the one, the victorious, and marvelling at the works of the omnipotent king. I landed with the rest, and sitting down by a spring of water, sweet water, that welled up amongst the trees, took out some vivers I had with me, and ate of that which Allah Almighty had allotted unto me. And so sweet was the zephyr, and fragrant were the flowers, that presently I waxed drowsy, and lying down in that place was soon drowned in sleep. When I awoke, I found myself alone, for the ship had sailed and left me behind, nor had one of the merchants or sailors bethought himself of me. I seared the island right and left, but found neither man nor jinn, whereat I was beyond measure troubled, and my gall was like to burst for stress and chagrin, and anguish and concern, because I was left quite alone, without aught of worldly gear, or meat or drink, weary and heartbroken. So I gave myself up for lost, and said, not always doth the clock escape the shock. I was saved the first time by finding one who brought me from the desert island to an inhabited place. But now there is no hope for me. Then I fell to weeping and wailing, and gave myself up to an access of rage, blaming myself for having again ventured upon the perils of hardships of voyage, whenas I was at my ease in mine own house, in mine own land, taking my pleasure with good meat and good drink and good cloths, and lacking nothing, neither money nor goods. And I repented me of having left Baghdad, and this the more, after all travails and danger I had undergone in my first voyage, wherein I had so narrowly escaped its destruction, and exclaimed, verily we are Allah's, and unto him we are returning. I was indeed even more as one mad and gin-struck, and presently I rose, and I walked about the island, right and left, and every whither, unable for trouble to sit or to tarry in any one place. Then I climbed a tall tree, and looking in all directions outwards, but saw nothing save sky and sea and trees and birds and isles and sand. However, a while my eager glances fell upon some great white thing afar off in the interior of the island. So I came down from the tree, and making my way down to the place where I had seen, and behold, it was a huge white dome, rising high in air of vast compass. I walked all around it, this white dome, on the interior of the island, but found no door, nor window, nor could I muster strength of nimbleness by reason of its exceeding smoothness and slipperiness. So I marked the spot where I stood, and went round about the dome, to measure its circumference, which I found a good 50 paces. And as I stood casting and pondering and thinking, what is this dome? This white, marvellous dome. And casting about how to gain entrance, the day being near its fall, and the sun being near the horizon, behold, the sun was suddenly hidden from me. Behold, and the air become dull and dark. Methought a cloud had overcome the sun, but it was the season of summer. So I marvelled at this, and lifting my head slowly, looked steadfastly at the sky, when I saw the cloud was none other than an enormous bird, a gigantic thunderbird, of gigantic girth, inordinately wide of wing, which, as it flew through the air, veiled the sun, and hid it from the island. At this sight, my wonder redoubled, and I remembered a story I had heard aforetime of pilgrims and travellers, how in certain island dwelleth a huge bird, called the Roc, which feedeth its young on elephants, and I was certified that the dome which caught my sight was none other than a roc's egg. As I looked and wondered at the marvellous works of the Almighty, the bird alighted on the dome, and brooded over it with its wings covering it, and its legs stretched out behind it on the ground, and in this posture it fell asleep. Glory be to him who sleepeth not. When I saw this, I arose, and unwinding my turban from my head, doubled it and twisted it in a rope, which I girt my middle, and bound my waist fast to the legs of the rock, saying in myself, peradventure this bird may carry me to a land of cities and inhabitants, and that will be better than abiding in this desert island. I passed the night, watching and fearing to sleep, lest the bird should fly away with me unawares. And as soon as the dawn broke and morn shone, the roc rose off its egg, and spreading its wings, with a great cry flew up into the air, dragging me with it. Nor ceased it to soar and to tower till I thought it had reached the limit of the firmament, after which it descended earthwards, little by little, till it lighted on the top of a high hill. As soon as I found myself on the hard ground, I made haste to unbind myself, quaking for fear of the bird, though it took no heed of me, nor even felt me, and loosing my turban from its feet, I made off with my best speed. Presently I saw it catch up in its huge claws something from the earth, and rise high into the air, and observing it narrowly, I saw it to be a serpent, big of bulk, and of gigantic girth, wherewith it flew away clean out of sight. I marvelled at this, and faring forwards found myself on a peak overlooking a valley, exceedingly great and wide and deep, and bounded by vast mountains that spired high in the air. None could descry their summits for the excess of their height, nor was any able to climb up thereto. When I saw this, I blamed myself for that which I had done, and said, would heaven I had tarried in the island. It was better than this wild desert. For there I had at least fruits to eat and water to drink, and here are neither trees nor fruits nor streams. But there is no majesty, and there is no might, save in Allah, the glorious, the great. Verily, as often as I am quit of one peril, I fall in a worse danger, and more grievous. However, I took courage, and walking away the wadi, found that its soil was of diamond, the stone wherewith they pierce minerals, and precious stones, and porcelain, and the onyx. For that it is of dense stone, and a jaw, whereupon neither iron nor hard head hath effect, neither can we cut off aught therefrom, nor break it, save by means of leadstone. Moreover, the valley swarmed with snakes and vipers, each as big as a palm tree, that would have made but one gulp of an elephant. And they came out by night, hiding during the day, lest the rooks and eagles pounce on them and tear them to pieces, as was their wont. Why, I wot not. And I repented of what I had done, and said, by Allah, I have made haste to bring destruction upon myself. The day began to wane, and I went along, and I looked about for a place wherein I might pass the night, being in fear of the serpents. And I took no thought of meat and drink in my concern for my life. Presently I caught sight of a cave near hand, with a narrow doorway, so I entered, and seeing a great stone close the mouth, I rolled it up and stopped the entrance, saying to myself, I am safe here for the night, and as soon as it is day, I will go forth, and see what destiny will do. Then I looked within the cave, and saw to the upper end a great serpent, brooding on her eggs, at which my flesh quaked, and my hair stood on end. But I raised my eyes to heaven, and committing my case to fate and lot, abode that night without sleep till daybreak, when I rolled back the stone from the mouth of the cave, and went forth, staggering like a drunkard man, and giddy with watching and fear and hunger. As in this sore case, I walked along the valley. Behold, there fell down before me a slaughtered beast. But I saw no one, whereat I marvelled with great marvel, and presently remembered a story I had heard aforetime of traders and pilgrims and travellers, how the mountains where are the diamonds are full of perils and terror, nor can any fare through them. But the merchants who traffic in diamonds have a device by which they obtain them. That is to say, they take a sheep and slaughter it, and skin it, and cut it into pieces, and cast them down from the mountain tops into the valley slough, where the meat being fresh and sticky with blood, some of the gems cleave through it. There they leave it till midday, when the eagles and vultures swoop down upon it and carry it in their claws to the mountain summits, whereupon the merchants come and shout at them and scare them away from the meat. Then they come and, taking the diamonds, which they find sticking to it, go their ways with them and leave the meat to the birds and beasts. Nor can any come at the diamonds but by this device. So when I saw the slaughtered beast fall, and before me the story, I went up to it and filled my pockets and shawl girdle and turban and the folds of my cloths with the choicest diamonds, and as thus I was engaged, down fell before me another great piece of meat. Then, with my unrolled turban and lying on my back, I set the bit on my breast so that I was hidden by the meat, which was thus raised above the ground. Hardly had I gripped it, when an eagle swooped down upon the flesh and, seizing it with his talons, flew up with it high into the air, me clinging thereto, and ceased not its flight till it alighted on the head of one of the mountains, where, dropping the carcass, he fell to rendering it. But behold, there arose behind him a great noise of shouting and clattering of wood, whereat the bird took flight and flew away. Then I loosened off myself from the meat, with my cloths daubed in blood therefrom, and stood up by its side. Whereupon up came the merchant, who had cried out at the eagle, and seeing me standing there, bespoke me not, but was affrighted at me, and shook with fear. However, he went up to the carcass, and turning it over, found no diamond sticking to it, whereat he gave a great cry, and exclaimed, "Harrow, my disappointment! There is no majesty and there is no might save in Allah, with whom we seek refuge from Satan the stoned." And he bemoaned himself and beat hand upon hand, saying, "Alas, the pity of it! How cometh this?" Then I went up to him, and he said to me, "Who art thou, and what causeth thee to come hither?" And I, "Fear not, I am a man, and a good man, and a merchant. My story is a wondrous, and my adventures marvellous, and the manner of my coming hither is prodigious. So be of good cheer. Thou shalt receive me what shall rejoice thee. For I have with me great plenty of diamonds, and I will give thee thereof what shall suffice thee. For each is better than aught thou couldst get otherwise. So fear nothing." The man rejoiced thereat, and thanked me, and blessed me. Then we walked together till the other merchants, hearing me in discourse with their fellow, came up and saluted me, for each of them had thrown down a piece of meat. And as I went off with them, I told them my whole story, how I had suffered hardships at sea, and the fashion of my reaching the valley. But I gave the owner of the meat a number of the stones I had by me. So they all wished me joy of my escape, saying, "By Allah, a new life hath been decreed to thee, for none ever reached yonder valley and came off thence alive before thee. But praised be Allah for thy safety." We passed the night together in a safe and pleasant place, beyond measure rejoiced at my deliverance from the Valley of Serpents, and my arrival in the inhabited land. And on the morrow we set out and journeyed over the mighty range of mountains, seeing many serpents in the valley, till we came to a great island, wherein was a garden of huge canther trees, under each of which 100 men might take shelter. When the folk have a mind to get camphor, they bore into the upper part of the bowl with a long iron, whereupon the liquid camphor, which is the sap of the tree, floweth out, and they catch it in vessels, where it cometh like gum. But after this the tree dieth, and becometh firewood. Moreover, there is in this island a kind of wild beast, called the rhinoceros, that pasturizeth as do steers and buffalo with us, but it is a huge brute, bigger of body than the camel, and like it feedeth upon the leaves and twigs of trees. It is a remarkable animal, with a great and thick horn, 10 cubits long, and middleward its head, wherein, when cleft in twain, is the likeness of a man. Voyagers and pilgrims and travellers declare that this beast, called Carcadon, will carry off a great elephant on its horn, and graze about the island and the sea coast therewith, and take no heed of it, till the elephant dieth, and its fat melteth in the sun, runneth down into the rhinoceros's eye, like, and blindeth him, so that he layeth down upon the shore. Then cometh the bird rock, and carrieth off both the rhinoceros and that which is on its horn, to feed its young withal. Moreover, I saw in this island many kinds of oxen and buffaloes, whose like are not found in our country. Here I sold some of the diamonds, which I had by me, for gold dinars and silver dirhams, and bartered others for the produce of the country. And, loading then upon the beasts of burden, fared on with the merchants from valley to valley and town to town, buying and selling and viewing foreign countries and the works and creatures of Allah, till we came to Basra city, where we abode a few days, after which I continued my journey to Baghdad. I foregathered with my friends and relations, and gave alms and largesse, and bestowed curious gifts, and made presents to all my friends and companions. Then I betook myself to eating well and drinking well, and wearing fine cloths, and making merry with my fellows, and forgot all about my sufferings in the pleasures of return to the solace and delight of life. With light heart and broadened breast, and every one who heard of my return came and questioned me of my adventures and of foreign countries, and I related to them all that had befallen me, and the much I had suffered, whereat they wondered, and gave me joy of my safe return. This, then, is the end of the story of my second voyage, and tomorrow I will tell you what befell me in my third voyage. The company marvelled at his story, and supped with him, after which he ordered 100 dinars of gold to be given to the porter, who took the sum with many thanks and blessings, which he stinted not, even when he reached home, and went his way, wondering what he had heard. Next morning, as soon as day came, and it sheen and shone, he rose, and praying the dawn prayer, repaired to the house of Sinbad the sailor, and went in and gave him good morrow. The merchant welcomed him, and made him sit with him till the rest of the company had arrived. And when they had well eaten and drunken and were merry, the host began to saying, "Hearken, O my brothers, to what am I about to tell you, for it is even more wondrous than what you have already heard. But Allah alone kenneth what things his omnipresence concealeth from man." This has been the second voyage of Sinbad the Sailor, presented to you by Conspiracy Club. The novel, which can be found in the description link, Gin City, and brought to you by the link in the description, the official partner with Kevin Trudeau Fan Club. Find in the link below. Please comment positively or negatively on this story, and scroll down and find the next story that you like to listen to. Subscribe. Thank you very, very, very much. Until next time, you stay classy, my listeners.